Hello, my friends. This is really going to be a very hard video, but hope we can get through it and you can understand my reasoning. But I think I'm going to end my backyard gardening adventure. I started backyard gardening around 2012. I used to plant in my driveway, and then when we had a hurricane that took out most of the backyard trees, I moved it to the backyard, and I have loved every single minute. And I've been really good at it. I've grown a lot of food for my husband and my family, but I am 64 now. My husband is 7 years older than I am, and this spring he had back and shoulder issues, and so I had to lug all the bags of compost and do much of the work before I ever found out I had breast cancer. Then with that diagnosis in April, I have not been able to touch my garden, just to pick a few things, and you can see it's really in rough shape. But what I want to talk about today is the ending of my little backyard garden. I physically, and especially my husband, cannot maintain this garden. And it is a heartbreaker, but there are alternatives, and I'll share those with you soon. So we're going to be breaking this down. I've got a couple of little families that I know with young children to see if they'd like that smaller chicken coop and my dome tunnel greenhouse with the sprinkler system. I'd like to donate all of that to a young family with young children and some of my nicer bed frames. So we will be doing that, and we're going to get all this cleaned up, and my cattle panels I will donate to a younger family, and hopefully they will use this and enjoy it as much as I have. I know someone suggested I give it a year break and start over, but I'm not getting any younger, and neither is my husband. As far as my chickens, I am going to let these girls stay with me until they all die off, and then I will probably not get more chickens, mainly because the feed has doubled in price since I started keeping chickens, and the 50-pound bags are just way too heavy for me, and I just, I don't want my husband to have to deal with that. So I will donate this little coop to someone that may have young children and want to raise chickens. But right now they'll probably be with me for another 4 or 5 years. So I'm not getting as many eggs as I should because I think my girls are getting to that point where they're not laying anymore, but it has been really hot. But I have loved having my backyard chickens. I really enjoy that so much, and I've loved the eggs. But let me tell you, it is not cheaper to raise your own chicken for eggs. It is very expensive because the feed is very expensive now. So that's just a little tip for those that want to run out and get chickens. But anyway, it is going to be hard because I do love it so, but I also know my limitations, and my husband and I really want to enjoy our years together, so I don't want to put any more pressure on him to try to keep this up for me. Now, I am growing enough loofahs that I will be able to have sponges for years. This vine has done so well. There are at least 5 or 6 huge loofah sponges, so I'll share that when it's time to harvest and make those sponges. I'll share that with you, but that is one of the things I'll miss. I will miss the fresh, just walking out and picking vegetables. But I live within 2 miles of 3 different farming counties. So I plan to take day trips and visit farmers markets and farms. I already get my blueberries from a county, and I've gotten a lot of vegetables this year from my favorite little produce stand by the box. So I'm not totally leaving the gardening, but I'm just going to let somebody else do that gardening for me. So I'm trying really hard to hold it together and not cry, but this is my last little backyard garden. I'm going to keep picking okra until the first frost probably, and I have got a little pumpkin patch that has expanded. My beans did terrible this year. I got very few beans, a lot of beautiful leaves, but no beans. Not enough to even mess with. But I have a big pumpkin patch of the little orange pumpkins, and I wanted each grandchild to have one, but this fall. So as far as I can see, I have at least a dozen pumpkins in here, and they have even grown on the other side of the fence and all along my side yard. There's probably more, but it looks very snaky, so I'm not going to traipse all in there. But I am real excited about having pumpkins this fall for the grandkids, and then I will also bake them and make pumpkin bread and pies. So that part is still moving on. I'm still excited about that. We will not pull these vines up until they're completely dead, but it goes all the way around this side and down the side of the yard full of pumpkins. So I'm real excited about that, and the grandkids will love that too, because they've always loved to have a little pumpkin. Let me get a little closer so you can see. In the past, I've planted the Cherokee Tan. This year, I went with the small orange, and they're so cute. I'm just real tickled with these, and they'll do great. They do great in this yard. So we'll share that with you in the fall when it's time to harvest all of those pumpkins. But all of this beyond the pumpkins is going to be cleaned out. And I have big plans for my backyard, and I'll share that with you in a few moments. My apple trees are loaded, so I'm going to keep those. Those are on the other side of the yard. But we are in the process of coming out here early in the morning, and my husband is breaking all this down. And then we will give a lot of this gardening beds and the greenhouse to someone else to enjoy for years to come. But our big plans including cutting down an oak tree close to our back deck, and we are going to be adding 3 rooms onto the back of our house. We're real excited about that. So that's a process that's going to be happening over the fall and into winter probably, but I'll share that with you soon. But that deck will be torn off. We're going to add in 2 big rooms. My family has just blossomed like crazy. And then a big walk-in pantry where I can store all my canning supplies, because I'm still going to be canning. I'm going to buy my vegetables, but I'll still be canning and preserving. So you stay with me. Just because I'm not gardening doesn't mean I'm not going to be harvesting vegetables and putting those up. I've got to get this cleaned real well and then taken apart. And I'm going to keep my mint garden. It is tucked up in the corner of the yard, so it's full of weeds right now, but it will come back next year. So I'm going to keep my little herb tea garden that's full of mint. So I will not be getting rid of that. But I'm kind of excited. I'm sad, but I'm not too sad enough to know that I cannot physically keep this up. Even though my prognosis is great, I'm still getting older. So with that, I'm going to change things up and spend more time with the husband and the grandchildren instead of working every day in this backyard garden. But I have loved it. I have a video playlist full of all my backyard gardens. I will leave that in the description box below if you want to get started on one. But you got to be young. You have got to have a strong body and be young to do this. So this morning I picked okra. I picked a bunch of hot peppers. I'm going to make some hot pepper vinegar. The okra will last well into the first frost. It just keeps getting taller, and I love fried okra. That's one of my favorite vegetables, and I do put that in the freezer. I have a little short video on how to do that. It's delicious, and that will last me all winter. So that part has been fun, is getting out. Even though I've had a lot of pain lately, I love to get out and enjoy what's left of the little garden. So we will keep doing that. I will be keeping some of my nicer containers, and I will have a little patio garden with tomatoes and a cucumber, maybe a squash or zucchini plant. I'm just kind of paring it way down. But the majority of my vegetables I do plan to purchase at farms, farm stands, produce stands. We have a wonderful farmers market in our state capital, and they sell in bulk, so I will be doing that and enjoying that with my friends and my husband. We love to go visit produce stands and get some really fresh vegetables. So this is not the end of that part of my life, but here is the plans for the back deck, and this is the very back of the house with a little covered porch. And we are going to be having a really nice pantry. It is going to be a nice deep size with an island in the middle where I can keep all of my canned goods and my equipment. We're going to walk through the dining room where I do a lot of my videos into a much bigger dining room where I can set my whole table out. I have so many grandchildren and I've run out of room, and then we're going to add a little den onto the side. So this makes more room for the family to gather together, which is so important to me. So we're excited about getting that started. We've got to have a tree cut down and we've got to tear up our deck, but you will start seeing me at farmers stands and markets because I love to go. My husband and I put up corn before my surgery, and we picked that up at my local produce stand at a really good price, like $25 for a box of corn. So my freezer is packed with good vegetables for the winter. I've canned green beans. I bought a big box of green beans. We're going to be doing apples again this fall, so I will pick up apples. Squash is loaded in the freezer. Every time I picked a squash, I breaded it. I've got plenty of pickles to last me several years. So I'm looking forward to this. I'm really happy about it because my health and my husband's health is so important, and we want our last years to be restful and happy and enjoying our family. And I want to spend every moment I have left on this earth enjoying these beautiful treasures, these sweet grandbabies. So thank you for watching. More to come. Stay tuned. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share.